But was that safe? Let's look at the facts.
Thank you. Good job, baby.
Since the late 19th century, multiple diseases have been mostly eradicated by vaccinations. Vaccines are meant to help so that people do not get diseases or viruses by injecting a very small amount of the diseases so the general population can build up a resistance. Measles, mumps and rubella, smallpox, polio are among the most well-known diseases to no longer be an issue. A good amount of parents do not vaccine their kids from these basically non-existent diseases, which not only threatens their kids, but others who cannot get vaccinated for religious or allergy-related reasons. However, what they do not understand is that vaccines aren't as dangerous as their blogs or Facebook groups may say they are.
My grandson got 9 shots in one day, 7 of which had mercury in it, and he became autistic in a very short period of time.
I believe that in the hierarchy of rights, that liberty is higher than safety and security.
Parents in Australia will now be fined for not vaccinating their kids.
A group of anti-vaccine activists have somehow convinced a large number of people in the state of Texas that this is a civil libertarian issue, and I don't accept that.
A parent decides whether their children get vaccinated or not.
The only thing that's going to stop this runaway train right now is a large measles outbreak.
I'm asking questions. You look at him. He's filming you.
I'll get on your level.
I'm here.
Look my ass.
Bring over this way, a little to the right, to your left. There we go.
No, you need to be in frame.
I'm asking the questions. You're looking at him.
Okay.
Do you believe vaccines are safe?
Yes.
Yes, I do believe they're safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, vaccines have been proven to be safe.
Are you vaccinated?
Yes.
Am I vaccinated? Yes.
Yes, my parents had me vaccinated as a child.
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think that some people refuse to vaccinate?
Some parents feel that vaccines can cause diagnoses such as autism, and there's also a little risk with infection, and the kids don't like it, and just physical things that come up actually at the time of the vaccination?
They're scared and they see stuff on like the media and that says something negative and they get scared about it because they're kids.
I guess because they think they're unsafe or they're uneducated.
They think there are harmful side effects.
I think because there's a lack of education and panic created by the media, along with prejudice, that causes people to freak out to extents that are not necessary.
Preach. Vaccines are necessary for children and adults in order to keep immunity and eradicate diseases that are likely to cause damage to the body if certain treatment is forgotten. Equally, many ingredients in a vaccine, such as preservatives and adjuvants, help boost the immune system's body to respond quicker to the illness. All ingredients of the vaccine help play a necessary role in either triggering the body to develop immunity or to ensure that the final product is safe and effective.
Do you think that people should have the choice over whether or not they vaccinate their children, or do you think it should be like you have to vaccinate?
It would be nice to have a choice, but I think history has shown that a mandate is required because it's not something that only affects you and your family. It affects us all as citizens. If some are vaccinated, some aren't, there will be different strains that the vaccinations don't work for. So it's really a greater for all good situation if everybody is vaccinated. Also, it kind of takes some stress off the parents because if you have to do it, you have to do it. The government's going to help you pay for it. It's a lot easier as a parent to say, okay, this is something we have to do, rather than kind of the guilt of, I don't have the money to do it. The kids aren't going to like me or whatever. So it's just better for all the society to be vaccinated.
Are you aware of any legitimate danger from vaccines?
Legitimate? No.
Legitimate.
No.
I am not.
No.
No, I'm not.
I know they contain mercury at one point, but it's such a small amount that it's irrelevant.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of.
Would you vaccinate your kids?
I would.
Yes.
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 Do you vaccinate your kids? And if not, like, why don't you?
Yes, my children have been fully vaccinated, all three of them. The only time I would be leery of doing a vaccine, it would be an untested vaccine that has not, had years of, patients that have come up with things.
What are the risks of refusing vaccines?
The risk of refusing vaccines more come from your child is going to be really susceptible to preventable diseases that they have, like that if they get, they could die, but if they got vaccinated, they could easily be safe from that, and also spreading diseases that we have worked very hard to get rid of in current society because we have the medical technology to do so.
Getting diseases.
I know you really won't be accepted into a public school because they're required. So yeah.
Getting coronavirus.
If a child isn't vaccinated, then they have risk of getting measles, rubella, chickenpox is another one, and then they will pass that on to other kids. And although most children in the United States are vaccinated, if you traveled outside of the states, your child is at more risk to get that, and then they come home and they pass that on to the other children who aren't vaccinated or even elderly. The coronavirus is a good example of that. There is not a vaccine for it, and so that's why we're in the current situation that we're in now. It's a new virus. There is only treatment of the symptoms, and there's nothing we can do right now to stop that virus from growing, which is what happened back in history with measles and, TB, all those things that killed many people before there was a vaccine for it.
Use 3 numbers to describe yourself.
Say that again.
Use 3 numbers to describe yourself.
Any context?
No.
Okay. 3, 4, 9.
7 and 8 and like 23.
7, 6, 23.
How important are vaccines? Like, how important is it that people do vaccinate their children or even themselves when they're older?
It's important to vaccinate, again, to not pass it on to somebody who has a weaker immune system that can't fight it off. You know, your grandparent, they're weaker physically, and if you would pass on some of these diseases to them, their body could not fight it off. That's like a flu vaccine. You can carry the flu and not have symptoms, and if a grandparent has not gotten their flu vaccine, then they could get really sick and would not be able to fight it off, and it could be deadly in some cases.
Can you drink vaccines?
No.